Hey everybody, welcome back to Gaming with ADHD. And today we are continuing our look at the unboxing for Siege of the Citadel from Modifius Games or Modifius Entertainment, sorry. And this is going to be one of, I believe, two videos for the core box set. I've been working through all of the add-ons and bonus material that came with the Kickstarter. I've finished the two retail expansions, and so at this point, it's the core box. I held off on this one basically because it has technically been out for a couple of years. So I figure some people have already seen it, but just in case you haven't, let's look into it. So, first off, this box is massive. Just to show you here, that is about 5.5 inches deep. The art, as I've been saying all along, has been fantastic. We've got two Doom Troopers on the cover, a Nephirite, an Ezogul, and a variety of different bad guys down here on the bottom. I really like the art. I like how these characters really just pop off the cover. And to me, these guys actually kind of blend into the back. I realize looking at it now, they actually do show up pretty well. But the whole time I've kind of looked at it, they kind of blended in, and I actually like that. But, oh well, it's a box. It holds stuff. So, let's open it up and see what we've got inside. So, as is usually the case, we start with rulebook. I do not have as much clearance up and down with this box, unfortunately. Let's see, 28 pages of rules. I've been reading over them through the collector's rulebook for a few days now, so we'll just kind of skim through these. But obviously, contents, setup, this is, really good print quality. I don't see any issues here. Good use of art. Nice detailed descriptions on how the rules work. Sorry. Dark Legion player. Character advancement. Equipment. And how the mission structure works. This is actually one thing that I do like. The game does include solo and co-op rules. So basically it's an AI deck so that you can play the game by yourself using a couple of corporations. Or if you want, the group can, you can play all Doom Troopers instead of the normal rule where a randomly selected Doom Trooper player will take on the role of the Dark Legion. So if you want to all play as the good guys, it does give you an AI option to do that. I think that's a great option that they included. I haven't tried it obviously, but hopefully it works out. So we've got a sheet of stickers. When I did the initial unboxing and looked at it, I was a little confused. I wasn't quite sure what this was for. But I did do some digging, and it turns out this is for the plastic stairs. One of the features of the original game was a three-dimensional piece that would go in the middle of the board, and they've recreated that for this version of the game as well. And so it's just a black piece of vacuum formed plastic, and so this lets you put some texturing and detailing on it, so it's not so plain. I really like that they added that in. That's a good call, Modifius. All right, then we've got our mission book, 16 pages, and they give you 2 5-mission campaigns. You know, obviously they've got the map layout, the map key, what tiles you need and what orientation they go in. I'm not 100% sure if the campaigns are related, as in like the story keeps going from one campaign to the other, but you do get 10 missions out of the core box. So to me, that's good. That's I think that's almost a minimum of what should be included. We've got descriptions of all of the Doom Troopers for each faction, with it looks like a little bit of flavor text about each one. A list of all the Kickstarter backers. I am there. And then a list of all of the monsters in the box. So, looks like we got Legionnaires, Necromutants, Centurions, Resides, Praetorian Stalkers, Nephirites, and an Ezogul. Alright, so... Alright, let's start with this. We've got... plastic door stands. So the cardboard doors that we'll get to later. This is so that they will stand up on the board. Looks like you get about a dozen of these. Looks like plenty. All right, then this. Glad I did some research online. This is, so it's a little rubber ring, and I believe it just slides on like that. Basically makes the base a little bit bigger, easier for models to stand. This might be for the Ezogul, which is a big centaur, demon, monster-y looking thing. I'd have to check its base, but we're not there yet. But regardless, when you open your box, if you find this and you're not sure what it is, now you know. You know, take your monster that's too big and make its base a little bit bigger. I'm not sure how big an issue that is, but clearly it's big enough that they felt they needed to add that. All right, so these look like the Necromutants. We should have 9 of these, but there's a lot in here. All right, these are not Necromutants. And that is the Reside. Okay, so this is a mixed bag of stuff. So this has 2, 4, 6, 8 Necromutants in that bag, 2 Centurions, and a Reside. Alright, then we've got... Alright, I'm going to set these off to the side so we can take a look at them. but I'm trying to just make sure of the count. And then we've got 12 Legionnaires. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2, 4, 6, 10, 11. Ah, okay. That's what they did. So there is right here one of the Resides, one of the Centurions, a Necromutant, and a Legionnaire. So now that I know that, I appreciate your patience on all of this. I'm going to put all this stuff back in the bag because I can just look at it from the tray. So, that I will admit, a little annoying because, you know, as I've talked about before, I am planning on, you know, doing some, you know, board game style paint jobs for these. So, you know, it would be nice to either have everything with a slot in the tray, then I could just reuse the trays. But in this case, I think I'm going to end up having to toss the trays out and making my own storage solution for the models, maybe even storing them outside of the game in like a typical miniatures carrying case. But we'll look at that later. So let's start with the smallest of minions. So we've got a Legionnaire. So first thing I would notice is this seems like a different kind of plastic from what I've been seeing in the expansions. It's a little bit darker, seems a little bit sturdier. We still got some good detail on the model. Obviously kind of hard to see just because of the fact that it's just gray plastic with no wash. But regardless, I mean, he's got lots of little details, little bust up armor plate. I believe these guys are basically like zombies. So, you know, dead heroes brought back in service of the Dark Legion. But that is the Legionnaire. Then we'll move on to the Necromutant. So, obviously, a bit of an upgrade. Got some good detail on the face. Shoulder pad has some detail, like it's got some rivets in along the groove. At first I thought there might be something else, but I think it's just the way the plastic came out of the mold. Overall, you know, pretty happy with this guy. Big gun across his waist. Nice definition and detail. I don't think he's wearing a shirt, but hey, you know, if you're in combat, you do what you do, I guess. Overall, that's a good one as well. All right, then we've got Centurions. So he looks a little more alive than his two compatriots there. See if I can get you some detail on his face. That face actually looks really good. Again, very, very hard to see the detail on these. I'm going to do a video on just a simple paint job that anybody can do. That, you know, at least will get you some definition on your models so that they look a little bit better. And I say anyone, but obviously, you know, it's whatever you're comfortable with. But it's just it's really designed just to keep things simple, but still then be able to see all the neat details that the sculptors have put into the model. The other thing I would say, Or the other thing that I'm planning on doing is also showing just hitting a plastic model with a wash, so you can get an idea of, oh, here's a one-step process I can do to get some better looking models. So, all right, next one is the Razid. So first off, he is big, he is mean, and he has no face. And that's on purpose. So, um, basically from the nose down, he's got nothing. But plenty of muscles on the guy. Apparently, he likes standing on his toes. You can see his heels up in the air, but just big, beefy, bruisey muscle guy. Giant gun. That's great. That literally looks just like the art from the role playing game. So great job there. All right. Next, we've got a Praetorian Stalker. So first off, we'll bring him down here. This guy's just got a lot going on. You know, he's on basically the same size base as everything else that we've seen so far. But then he's got this giant. I don't even know what to call this thing. Whether it's a scythe, an axe, or the batleth. I don't know, but it's big. He's got a giant gun there with lots of little details. A nice wash will pick those out perfectly. We've got his face. Lots of detail. Lots of runes and stuff up around the armor, down on the feet. So the pose is kind of crazy. It'll make it, I think it'll make it a little awkward on the game board. A little bit of flash on there. But overall, I don't think it'll be too rough to play with. All right, and for the top tray, the last Dark Legion model is the Nephirite. So, again, focusing on the face, we can see that open mouth, the giant horns. Yeah, he's only supposed to have the one extra horn right here. No matching horn on the other side, but otherwise, really good. Lots of detail. A symbol of Algaroth right there on his chest. Matching ones up on the shoulder. Great detail on the chain axe or halberd or whatever this thing is. Nice definition in the muscles. Tattered cloak coming off the side. And got some spikes up on the shoulders. I've been seeing a little bit more, you can see it here, extra flashing, but nothing a simple, hobby knife couldn't clean off. So that's good there. All right. Apologize for that. All right, let's take a look at our Doom Troopers. So we're going to start with Cybertronic. I believe this is Coral Beach. Got a lot of armor. If I can focus it in. Well, needless to say, he's got a good face on him. The pistol's held a little awkwardly. Like it angles back instead of straight out, but that's nitpicking at this point. I believe that's supposed to be a sword in his hand, but It's kind of blocky. Unfortunately, you do deal with that with this type of PVC material. But overall, really well detailed model. Let's see. And then I believe this is Lori Faust. Interesting design choice. Basically, a just flat piece of armor right down the front. A little bit of detailing on it, though, so it's not just perfectly flat. Face on this one's okay. Not a ton of detail on it. I believe that's some sort of a rifle that she's holding. Sorry, I feel like I keep blocking out the light, but... Keypad looking device here on her back. Nice. And then Vince Diamond. So Vince, lots of muscles. I think he's got extra muscles, in fact. But Cybertronic is also heavily cyborged, so not surprising. Rifle on his back. Knife. Gun in his hands. Look like he's got a mohawk. Pretty good. Alright, Mishima with the white bases. Our first one, I believe, is Oshiro Makiko. So the neck looks a little strange. She's almost like a giraffe, but she's also got these giant feet. Overall, though, I like the pose. Just some of these just little quirks. Very thin arm right there. It's not bad, but definitely not my favorite model. All right, then I believe this is Tatsu. Good detail. Not a lot going on with Tatsu, but it has a very traditional samurai look to him. And then we've got Tetsukage. Very ninja-like. I really like that. I really like that pose. Oops, sorry. Does cross over the edge of the base, but not too crazy. Shouldn't get in the way too much. There's a mask over the face. So kind of hard to see some of the detail, but a wash will pull it out. Overall, this is great. I think that one's one of my favorites. All right, Capital. I believe Capital is in the dark blue. All right, I think this is Big Bob Watts. He comes out really well on the screen. Good detail on his face. Some detail on the shoulder, but I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure what it is. It's stuff, though. And a good gun. So that's Bob. And then we've got Angelina Drake. That's a good pose. Well, maybe not necessarily the pose, but the model. Nice and lithe. Very feminine styling without being too over the top. And of course, some giant shoulder pads. It's almost like it's 1984 again, for those of you that get the reference. And then we've got Mitch Hunter. We saw Mitch's dog in the Doom Trooper bonus box. Got a pistol on his holster, sword on his back. Good looking face on that guy. Alright, then let's look at Bauhaus. Bauhaus, I believe, is yellow. Yes. So we will start with Max Steiner. No relation to House Steiner. Got some faction symbols molded onto the shoulder pads. That's nice. Nice cloak. Nice detail piece that he's standing on. I think he's got a goatee, but I can't really tell. Sorry guys, sometimes I can get the camera to focus right away, sometimes it doesn't want to focus at all. There we go. Not bad on Max. Let's see, Valerie Duvall. Not a lot going on with this character. She's got her spear and a pistol, standing on a rock. But overall, really nice. Nice, like what they did with the hair. Not quite as fancy as Max's, but really good. Good face. And then finally, Carl Lind. He's got sort of a Roman centurion look to him. Nice running pose. Could have put him a little farther back on the base, but not unreasonable. All right, and then our last one is Imperial, with starting off with Selena Kingsfield. Two-handed weapon. Logo on the shoulder pad. Sorry for the trouble focusing. Face looks okay, but it's a little flat. Nice detail around the back. Alright, we've got Sean Gallagher. Now that guy's going to be a bit of a challenge. His face is tucked in behind a shoulder pad, his arm. You know. Got a fur cloak on his back. I'm assuming that's a combat kilt. I don't know, I'll have to get out some reference pictures to look at him before painting him up. And then our last one is Edward Murdoch, who, if you got the Kickstarter, can be replaced by a chibi version. But nice general model. Not a whole lot of extra details, but overall, good model. So that is the first layer. We're going to take a break and we'll come back tomorrow with part 2. Looking at the remainder of the contents. Appreciate your patience. I hope you've been enjoying this. I hope you like what you're seeing. Obviously, comment down below if there's anything that I missed, anything that I should remember or you'd like me to point out. And if you haven't, please, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We got more stuff coming. I've got some ideas, like I said, on, painting models for just a board game standard. And then also, also doing just like some simple fixes. Regardless, we got some good stuff coming, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.